Hey there everyone, my last skill runes preview video went down really well, and I already said that I was going to make this one, but yeah, this one I'm going to be going through the 6 most recent runes. That's the 3 water ones and the 3 fire ones. I've shown them before, already, just sort of talking through them theoretically wise, but actually now I'm going to properly preview them. So the wizard ones I've added into my guide here. It's Empowered Frozen Sphere, that's the water one, and the Empowered Fireburst, the fire one, obviously. So yeah, just quickly looking at the numbers here. In terms of damage between the Fireblast and Frozen Sphere, that's what you want to compare it against most. They're actually almost identical in terms of damage at the different percentages, but of course you can use Master of Ice to massively boost Frozen Sphere, so that makes it really interesting. However, there's also the area of effect that's a lot smaller, and I'll go to show that. But then the slow's bigger and also more effective. There's a lot to talk about with all these different skill runes, and I'm going to be going through them all individually, trying to pick out on all the unique things about these skill runes. They're all fairly interesting, quite cool, apart from one, which I've always said is terrible. But yeah, so Empowered Fireburst here, if we compare it to Expel, because it's not doing the 2 hits, it's doing less overall to begin with. But then if you have a high fire bonus, you're actually going to be hitting a lot of damage with this compared to Expel, which most people don't have very high shadow bonus. So yeah, that's quite a good one for damage. However, it has a small area effect compared to a big one. So similar to Empowered Frozen Sphere, you've got a smaller area effect. Here you also have a smaller area effect. I'm going to show that as well as the damage. So here we are in the newest event, and if you heard that, that was a bauble falling down. Yeah, what I'm going to show first off is the slow on Empowered Fireblast and the area of effect on the Expel. So, if you watch the melee enemies here running after me, if I use Empowered Fireblast, as you can see, the slow effect, it really doesn't do much. It's barely a slow effect at all. If I now switch over to Frozen Sphere, and we watch them running after me, now use it, they barely move at all. That slow effect is so much more powerful, and also lasting 3 seconds rather than 1.75. So yeah, a lot better for that slow effect. However, the area effect is smaller, which I'll show later on. As for Expel, it's got the same 3-second stun and 2-second in PvP. However, the Empowered Fireblast for Fire Burst. I'm going to show it in a second. But if you look at the area of Expel, I can actually hit them both from over here. That's how far it will go. It's brilliant in PvP. If you see my PvP videos, you'll notice I like to teleport next to an enemy, expel them, and that's got them stunned for 2 seconds. Now, if you compare that to Empowered Fireburst, if I stand about here, you'll see I hit that enemy there. That's about the limit of its range. It's not going to hit that enemy, which ultimately makes it a lot less useful in PvE. This skill generally is used for stunning, because it's got that 3-second stun and 6-second cooldown. Yeah, really you want to use it for stunning. Damage isn't that good. Expel gave it good damage. It made it very exciting, and also a huge range. So really it's the range that makes it viable more than anything. This one here, it's down to the base area effect, the base AoE, which is just really poor. You can just about hit that there. See, if I'm standing here, I can. Can I hit that? Yeah, that's like literally the absolute absolute furthest distance. Yeah. So for PvE, it makes it a lot less useful. However, of course, the damage is insane on this. Like I said, comparing the damage here, if you've got high fire. Oh yeah, sorry, forgot to mention. My setup right now is pretty much what I'd expect a good endgame player to be in terms of damage and stats, and I've got 50% fire and water because I thought those were kind of good numbers to have for demonstration purposes. So if we compare the damage on Expel and Great Fireburst, I'll just show you here, it's about 250,000 on the base hit, and then about 800,000 from the fire. Expel, on the other hand, is going to be 2 lots of 250,000 at the lower bit, and then about the same 2 lots of 250,000 on the shadow. So, like my number showed, with 50% fire, they're both going to be doing about 1 million damage, roughly. And yeah, that's how they compare against each other. So in terms of damage, you can see quite clearly Fireburst will be a lot better the damage it adds on that is very, very good. So yeah, it can be a very, very good way of doing damage. I'll be trying it in PvP, but in PvP it may be incredibly difficult to hit because it's a smaller area effect, and so it's not incredibly exciting. I'm not too excited by it. I'll probably get out after some other things and then maybe use it. I'll probably test it first in PvP and see if it's actually viable. It may be that it's just so hard to hit that actually in reality you're better off using Expel. Not sure. So just show you here the area effect. If I use Empowered Frozen Sphere, it will defeat that chicken there, but it won't hit the snowman. It doesn't go far enough. It's actually got, surprisingly, it looks a little bit bigger than the normal Frozen Sphere animation actually. Oh no, yeah, they're exactly the same. So yeah, it's slightly bigger than the standard, the base skill, but nowhere near as big as Fireblast, which if I use now, you'll see it will kill the snowman off to the left there as well. It hits all that area, which generally means it's going to be a bit annoying to use. You definitely want to farm with Fireblast, but I don't think it's going to hold it back too much, certainly not in PvP, and that slow effect is awesome. So yeah, it's a very viable water alternative, unlike Empowered Fireburst, which you can see there are some kind of differences that might make it not so good. So yeah, that's the two wizard ones. We're now going to move on to the archer one. Now the archer ones we're looking at are what is it? Sorry, click the wrong button. Here we go. Empowered Shattering Shot, and the one on Sniper, which is very exciting, Empowered Blasting Shot. So this Empowered Shattering Shot, I've already said it's terrible. I'm going to show again. So it turns the what is an area effect skill into a single target. Except actually they've changed that after what I said. So I'm very glad. You can see it does hit the area of effect, and then it shoots out these ice balls. Now, as you can see, it didn't actually hit these guys. The ice balls are very unreliable. However, I think actually we'll test this now. The area of effect. Okay, we'll go up here. We'll go and do it up here. Now, Blasting Shot is in comparison to Shadow Marksman was the other best one. And the main thing people were worried about was the chance of activating, because it says it's low, as opposed to Shadow Marksman, which just said it had a chance. They're actually the same. I think they're just saying it's low to kind of make people realize, not expect it so much. Because Shadow Marksman, a lot of people complained saying it was really low chance, and the damage output is clearly more. And of course, if you have more fire, then it's a lot more. And I've just crashed, so I've got to have to reset. Oh no, are we good? I think we might be good. Go on full screen. There we go. We're good. Okay, so yeah, let's have a look at this Empowered Shattering Shot. So the area of effect, as you can see, is fairly big. Now let's try it without a skill rune, see if it's any different. How big is the area of effect? Oh no, wrong skill. Yes, so it looks like they've actually changed it now, so it works like the base skill, which is quite cool. So we can do a direct comparison to Stone Arrow, I think it is. Yeah, Stone Arrow. So in terms of the damage output, I would say quite a bit less. It's more, and it's just got a chance that of those ice balls hitting outer enemies and doing a bit of damage to them as well. So in comparison, I'd say overall less damage, but it's a water alternative. So fairly good, just nothing that exciting. I'm glad it's not as terrible as it used to be when it was turned into a single target. I'm really glad they changed that. So as you can see, there are a lot of enemies here, and this is why I've taken us to this map, because now we're going to try and do the Blasting Shot and see how frequently it actually activates. We've got a bit of lag, probably because I've got too many enemies right now, but from time to time you're seeing there's an explosion that's going on. That explosion obviously does tons of damage. It's very, very powerful, and in terms of frequency, yeah, just watch this. So in terms of 30 seconds, how many can you pull off? Maybe 5, 6. Depends on your attack speed, of course. But yeah, there are some definitely going off. It's not like waiting for minutes before you get one. Or actually, haven't got the skill on anymore. Let's just build up a few of these enemies. I like to use this place on the map for testing, because you can actually, they'll still spawn when you're off screen, and then look, you walk over there, you get tons of them coming out. So it's really handy when you just need some enemies to attack. Oh, that was shadow thing. Oh, that was the set bonus. Screwed me over. But yeah, as you can see, definitely it's activating from time to time. Does a lot of damage, and from what I've heard from archers who've got it and they've got high fire bonus, this is an incredibly good skill rune. It's really increased the damage output, which will help them even more in raids, in boss raids. But yeah, anyway, very good. I'm happy about that one. Very cool. So let's move on to the night one. So the night skill runes we're looking at, there's Empowered Water Cleave and Empowered Twin Smite. So these are both fairly interesting. The one we're going to look at, Empowered Water Cleave, first. This is why we're in this event. I'm going to be showing the slow effect again, like I did for the Wizard skill rune. And yeah, the main one to compare it to here is Wild Swing, because Wild Swing, like with Expel, it does 2 hits. Oh, I've actually got this in my skill runes guide. Let's take a look. So I've done Cleave so far, and oh, I have done a breakdown. Cool. So yeah, Wild Swing does the 2 hits rather than 1, which, as you can see, when you haven't got any elemental stats, it's doing way more than Empowered Water Cleave. And really, when you look at the numbers overall, comparing Wild Swing to Empowered Water Cleave with Lord of Winter, the two kind of hit a similar amount, I think. However, the problem is Lord of Winter doesn't last very long, and it's not very reliable as a time you can do damage and stuff. So yeah, clearly you're going to be doing less damage overall with this. However, it's got that slow effect, so that might be the interesting bit of it. So when you actually take a look at it, oh come on, hold on. I actually had to fully restart my browser there, so I've forgotten what I was talking about exactly. But yeah, basically the slow effect on this, we can already see on it, it's 40%. In reality, it's actually quite hard to pull off because the enemy's slow. They don't move afterwards. But yeah, as you can see, it's not terribly strong, like it's quite useful. But to be honest, on a night, because you're going to be in there attacking, fighting the whole time, putting a slow effect on enemies isn't really going to help that much. My only thought of it is actually in PvP, you can kind of hold an enemy still rather than, like stop them from getting away, rather than just simply attacking them. But yeah, so it's got sort of mild use there, but of course the damage is less, so I'm not so keen on it. And Lord of Winter it doesn't last long enough for it to really be useful there. So I'm not massively keen on that skill rune, but yeah, we'll look at the other one. One thing actually I would like to add, just before, I said I'm not massively keen on it, but actually if you compare, so Wild Swing is very weak when it comes against fire enemies, and Empowered Water Cleave is obviously going to be very strong when going against fire enemies. So this has its niche use against fire enemies, and yeah, if you have high water bonus and no nature bonus or whatever, like it could become good there. So it's fairly good. It's just got a niche use. It's not really sort of a super powerful one. Whereas Wild Swing, when it came out, it stood out as a very good rune. So the next one we're looking at is one which counts as a constant bonus as long as you're using 2 swords. And the damage output on this is incredible. If you look against Shadow Wield is 105% when it activates, 105% Shadow, and then it adds a bit of extra damage to each hit. I can't remember if that crits, but anyway, not important. Basically, this new one's way better. So the chance for activating is the same as it is for Shadow Wield, which is very cool, and the damage on it is huge. I mean, that's 150% plus 28,000. So let's see how frequently this activates. And yeah, you'll see it as a big sword that comes down. You can see there's one there, came down, bang, that was it. There's a slight delay sometimes, I think, or that might just be the lag in this particular case. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, it does a ton of damage when it goes off. And of course, it's all fire, so if you've got high fire bonus, which some people do, yeah, going to be doing a ton of damage, and it's always on. So yeah, pretty awesome. Massive AoE, as you can see, and it happens frequently. It's a very nice skill rune. You can't really say much more about it really. So that's all the skill runes that I wanted to show. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time that there are new skill runes. But of course, there'll be other videos as well. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.